Welcome. This is the Simzim, aka the Dark Millennial, here, bringing you another video. I thought I'd put myself on camera, and I don't often go on camera, only because I don't know. I tend to want to sort of almost don't want to really concentrate on me. I'd rather concentrate on the news itself. But I was eager to really speak about the news right here. First of all, I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are okay. I hope you guys are basically just keeping and looking after yourself well. We are slowly coming out of what has been a turbulent time, although there are parts of the world that's still suffering, and we have to give thought to those. So, please, let's just be careful when you go outside. So, but this video really here is really to talk about a character that's really loved to my heart, really. A Marvel thing, aka,
let me bring it over. Should have had this prepared.
the Black Panther, and my love for the Black Panther.
I have loved Black Panther for a long time. I've been a Marvel fan for a long time.
See? Loved them to bits. The movie, everything was great. The animation, the cartoons, everything pertaining to the Black Panther. And when the movie, well, first of all, when news came out of them making a Black Panther movie, immediately I thought, this is going to do well. This is going to absolutely, the world's going to be it's going to be ready for this sort of superhero. When Daniel Kaluuya was speaking about it, and then when you had Ryan Coogler, the director, attached to it, coming off from Creed, and you saw the people he was assembling, you felt this was going to be something special. This was something that was going to be like nothing we'd seen before, and that was exciting, to say the least. I was ecstatic. I actually said from the beginning, you know what, this film is capable of doing so well. It's capable of reaching out to an audience that may well not have viewed or looked at comic books in the vein as we see it. But not only that, but we are being introduced to a character that we've been wanting for so long, that the world itself will soon, well, the rest of the people that weren't in the know would get to see what it's about. And obviously there's a little bit of nerve in terms of what was going to happen, but when we were told, obviously being saying Wakanda, everything about it, it just, there was a tick. And with the MCU doing so incredibly well, when you're slotting that component in, just coming off the back of the Civil War, when Black Panther really rose to the character he was, played by the brilliant Chadwick Boseman, it would only lead to bigger and better things, and it was amazing. So again, obviously due to his passing, that was such a shock. I remember I was in bed and I saw the texts, and all I saw was, Chadwick Boseman died. Wow, I was floored, absolutely, and it took a lot out of me. And I think just again, we'd seen photographs of how he was looking before, and I think a few people thought he was either prepping for a role. There was always comments about his lack of weight, but we just thought maybe it's due to his metabolism or his diet. I don't think some really took it as serious as it was, but it came like that. Such a shock. And upon that, again, you have a small majority of fans or people that was obviously, as well as them being so expressively sad, but we're also talking about what will this be for the sequel, which I thought was a bit disrespectful. And I deliberately didn't even put a video out on that, because that is exactly what people go to. Because of that, they look at, this is our commodity. This is our, what's going to happen? What's going to be the lead up? What are we to expect? which I thought was so. I mean, the body wasn't even that in the ground, and the people were just talking about sequels. It was just, it peed me off. It was so disrespectful, you know. Man, that discussion needed to be done the moment or later on, you know, as soon as the funeral, the procession, everything was done, and the man was laid to rest. Only then videos should have come out then, but to have it done then, I just thought it was tactless. So for those that did it, man, you should be ashamed of yourself. But yeah, no. Now obviously, fast forward many months, and obviously, having read articles from Marvel, Disney, and obviously when we had the Investor Day from Disney, and then we had Kevin Feige come out and said that he will not be replacing Chadwick Boseman by T'Challa, and obviously that for me was the best course of action, and I'll tell you why. Yes, this is a prevalent character. This is a character that was going to be more showcased going forward, was going to be the leading face, I would imagine, going into the next phase. You know, we looked at it, we looked at the numbers, and we knew that this character had the gravitas to carry, and it was exciting to see. But obviously, that is not to be the case. Now, that doesn't mean to say it won't happen in the future. I'll go into that. But I think for now, as it stands, with the sequel being done, now I actually don't believe so much of what both Chadwick Boseman and Kevin Feige say when they didn't have a plan, because in that era, I'm sure you have many scripts that are being written, you know, some with, some without, and I'm sure at some point there must have been some little nods to say that, you know, Chadwick isn't looking so well, or there might have been a private discussion, very secretly, to say, look, this is the status, the situation. It would have had to have done. So again, telling his close friends, people involved. Again, I think that was the decision that, okay, well, Ken Feige looked at this, okay, we just have to look and go another pathway. So henceforth, with Black Panther 2, which will be, I believe, released 23, if I'm mistaken. Yeah, if I'm mistaken, I think 23. Which is fine. It gives them time. Obviously, they'll be filming this year shortly anyway, sort of thing. So, and again, this is again, as Kevin Feige mentioned, we'll be focusing on Wakanda and the tribes, the characters that inhabit the lands there, which is fantastic, because this is a chance for us to know and to get to know the rest of the cast team, because I myself came off the first one, it was fantastic. It was great to see Panther, great to see T'Challa, great to see his personal journey in terms of really becoming the king he was meant to be. And obviously now, with his absence, we're now faced with the repercussions, and I think this will be included into the storyline. How it will be, I don't know, but listen, all it takes is some good writing, some good creativity, some good analysis, and you'll be able to produce a great enough story that can transcend. Now, that's not to say in the future, and I'm not saying maybe Disney may bring T'Challa back. As for now, for the sequel, no, they should not bring him into part 2. No. And with all this hashtag recast T'Challa, the guy who started it, no, I think, no, he's definitely wrong for doing that. Now, I don't care what he says in terms of, this is just to highlight we're gonna recast the character. No, that has nothing to do with that. He wanted it basically for the sequel, like for the part 2. He didn't state that, in the future. Maybe he did, but what he's muddling now is he's actually stating and saying that for the foreseeable, for what he wants to see for the next movie, which I think personally is wrong. He shouldn't be able to do that. I mean, he's up to what he said, but in terms of what we want, look, we all know Chadwick passed away. Let us allow T'Challa to rest in the MCU. Now, if they want to bring him back, they can bring him back via the multiverse. The multiverse. I know people think, oh, how you could listen. The multiverse is going to be introduced by Doctor Strange, Wanda, Maximoff. How it will be split, the time, deviations going to be split. So you're going to have different dimensions. This T'Challa can come from another realm, can come from another universe, and could be placed within the structures of Wakanda, or maybe outside as this lost character who maybe bears the same name as the T'Challa, his exact same namesake. So it doesn't have to be the exact same one. It can just be another representation, which would be, hey, you can still carry on with the character then. So I believe, in the sense that you can bring forth a new character or a new version of T'Challa that will still honor everything that Chadwick brought, but his own different. Because why would you want to place an actor to play or to take over from Chadwick when he will be scrutinized predominantly? You can tell, and we're going to be like that. So people who are saying that it's absolutely complete nonsense. You know you're going to be doing that. You're going to be absolutely scrutinizing this actor who will take over Chadwick. We're going to be doing it subconsciously. We won't be watching the movie. We'll be analyzing him, and that's a wrong thing to do, because no actor should have to fill the boots of someone that's past. It's way too big a boots. So again, like for the future, T'Challa, for this version, is past. How they find you? Well, I'm sure they've got the ideas, but that's the idea. Or you can go another route. Again, bring a new character, or bring a new person in. Now again, there's so much to Wakanda that we don't know, that we don't know about. That's the fantastic thing about creative writing. You can actually do a lot of things. You can actually bring forth maybe a fourth cousin, or maybe a brother, or a hidden son, maybe that T'Chaka had that we never knew about. That maybe a bastard side of Wakanda that was never shown. That could be another route. And we can do that. We can definitely do that. You can have all the traits of maybe T'Challa, but maybe a poor version. Maybe he could be a very aggressive one, maybe a one who's standoffish, or maybe he's been cast out of Wakanda and he could be living in Europe. He could be living in some other country. Anything could happen. Anything can go. It's now that the field's been open. This can be, the sequel can literally be the fight for the title. And you've got all previous characters, Mboku, Shuri, who is the rightful person who will take up, but maybe taking up the role is too much for her. So therefore, there's going to be a fight for the throne. It's going to be very tribalistic, going to be very political in a sense. It will be very intriguing to see what happens, and I'm sure that would then spiral into Kingdoms of Wakanda. I think people, you've got to look and see the possibilities of where this can go. We don't have to, again, I know people are so desperate to have the same T'Challa, but again, Chadwick's gone. So we're going to have to deal with a new person that will have to fit in the void, if there is one, which I'm sure there will be in the future. Again, the character will never die. Also, I think there'll be ways you can bring him back, mountless ways. So I think, but as far as I'm concerned, at least for the sequel, Kevin Feige did the right thing. Absolutely did the right thing. If he is to come back, and that's a big if, maybe the third movie we can then look at bringing T'Challa back. Who knows from the state of the Kingdoms of Wakanda how that will end. Maybe it will end on a cliff note that will show maybe a lost character. Again, we're stepping into intrepid times, and I think now is a case of us really just saying, okay, Interesting. I think we can bring something pretty tangible, and I think would work, and I think it would definitely work. Yeah, I think for now the future for Marvel is absolutely shining bright. That's first and foremost. But we just have to look and really see where we'll go, and I'm thinking we're going in an incredible direction. So I for one am looking forward to seeing the future of this character right here, and seeing what stories he has to tell. Because like I said, fantastic film, beautiful film. But I'm really interested to see what the story would be without him. What will be the story? Will they take strands of what they were going to tell when Chadwick was around, or are they going to build it into something completely new? Like I said, they're going to start shooting. So again, it's easy to work a story in right now. You can still work things in. It'll probably be trickier because you got the sets made up, and if Chadwick was alive at the time of being made, and if that wasn't set, then yeah. But I do believe at the point of when they found out he was ill, I think Kevin Feige said, okay, we need to hold production. We need to just rework a few things here and there, because we know that things are not going to go forward to plan with the actor. So yeah, I just had to add my 2 cents worth, because I go online, I go all over, and I scan, and when you're hearing people say recast T'Challa, recast, the reasons they give it are just so weak. They're so, it's basically what it is excitable people of the films that are just so excited. Oh, they've seen T'Challa on screen, so you can't take our Superman, you can't take our T'Challa, you can't take our Black Panther. This is what you're doing to us. Oh, because the white man they can switch this character over with that character. Oh, you did that with the Joker. You've done that with Superman. And these people have no idea into what they're talking about. None whatsoever. The Joker, we've had many iterations of the Joker. Heath Ledger, The Dark Knight, when Heath Ledger passed away, originally he was actually supposed to be in the 3rd film. That was the plan. Him and I believe the Penguin, that was a plan for Christopher Nolan to actually do some sort of turf warfare. It was questionable whether Harvey Dent was going to be alive to play a role. I'm not sure, but it was definitely going to be Joker. And I think Penguin was going to be in it. It was going to be Catwoman. It was going to be really all out war. Man, that would have been great. Obviously, I mean, we've got Bane, and that was a fantastic film as well. Wasn't as Dark Knight, but still good. But for what they've done, I think it's, Christopher Nolan said, we're gonna redo the story, have another actor, have another character, and play that role, and faithfully have that actor, the Joker character, fade away. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. But people like to turn and twist things and say like, nah, this, that, the other, and then they like to try to compare that Joker to the Joker with Joaquin Phoenix, which is completely different, a completely different storyline. The two have no connection with them, unless the Warner Brothers has said there's a connection. But as of we know now, there is no connection. So that's a bad example. And with Superman, well, we had so many versions of Superman. Christopher Reeves is obviously the King Dada. Then you had Brandon Routh, who was supposed to be the sequel to supposedly the 3rd movie, or the Superman Returns, but which I personally think he was great, and I think they were looking to have his Superman fit from the role of the Dark Knight. So how if Superman Returns was successful, really successful, probably would have planned on getting Christopher Nolan's Batman into the role, which would have been fantastic. But then I think the actor, I forget his name now, calling off my band. I think he decided not to sort of pursue. I think he just wanted to do 3 movies and that was it. And okay, and unfortunately, the film Superman Returns didn't do a fair well as they wanted to. Superman's such a hard character to write for, really and truly. They can't do a successful one. And then you obviously got the last one, which is Henry Cavill's Man of Steel, which I actually think that's a decent film. It's a really decent film. I think Zack Snyder had a good angle with that. But anyway, beside the point, the fact of the matter is that you've had versions of film movies and you've had different versions of the Superman pertaining to that. If you start to change up right now, and again, we've had now 4 versions. We had 1 film, and we've had 3 movies with Chadwick starring in it. So to place a new face in it, nah, it's just too much. If this was 2 movies in, I could understand, but we've had a whole movie and few features. That's like his face, we attach it to it. So no, completely no, so wrong. Again, we're gonna go into the next film, the sequel, with now a new slate. Whatever the feature will happen, the film will do well. The film will do absolutely well. And I think this is a point to sort of, I want to see the new characters. I want to see the new people in, I want to see the other tribes as well that are in Wakanda. I want to see their hand in it. Maybe it'll be more of a personal journey. Maybe it'll be about the characters and the tribe there. So I think that's an important thing to say. I think we need to sort of look at that as being a stepping stone in the right direction. And then again, like I said, what happens afterwards happens, so I'm very interested. I'm very eager to see where Marvel and Ryan Coogler's team go with it. So watch this space. You've got to support. Don't not support this just because Chadwick Boseman here and Marvel aren't gonna cast T'Challa and use some sort of flippant reason it's a race thing. No, it's not. It's got nothing to do with that. Absolutely nothing to do. Stop using that as a crutch for your personal fight to just recast it. It's got nothing to do with that. The fact is, no one predicted what would happen to Chadwick. No one saw this coming a mile away. What happened to him was so unfortunate. And with that being said, I think our best way, I would like to see in a sequel, him, a memorial of Chadwick. Can you imagine the opening scene of the sequel, and you see an opening scene, a funeral being made? You got the superheroes, people that knew him. Maybe Chris Evans, Steve Rogers will make an appearance. He'll be there as old man Steve Rogers. All the other Marvel characters that were or who knew Chadwick, would be there. It would be a pure, beautiful. Can you imagine that is the opening scene before you go into the actual main movie, and there's a memorial of T'Challa, Chadwick Boseman? That is the ultimate way to honor this man. The biggest way you can honor this guy. To have that feature in the statue there to say, no matter what happens, no matter who inherits the mantle, that he will be, that Chadwick will be there, that's T'Challa. Whatever happens. Even if there's another version of T'Challa, but you'd have to then look at this guy and say, okay, well, the previous T'Challa who died, perhaps, or gone missing, who knows, would have to really raise the stakes, would have to really stand toe to toe with this guy. It'd be interesting. Oh, and also, for a third reason, or third of how you could really bring, if people are in dire need of T'Challa, there could be a sort of reincarnation. It could be like a spiritual, maybe a balance between, his physical appearance dies and another person inherits the role. Maybe you could do it that way. Again, about voodooism, maybe, witchcraft. Again, there's always things you can tell, like magic, that can play a very prevalent role. And it's all about the writing. It's all about the writing. You can do it convincingly. People will just adore it because they can see it there. So people just think that for the sequel, no. It's very disrespectful for anyone to say they want to see it there. No. For the sequel, I think we should just go ahead and make, obviously his absence is going to be felt. What leads off from there, that's a question mark. We can then have a discussion about where, from having seen the sequel, where the storyline goes from. And I think, you know, with Wakanda, you can go in, it's going to branch your route into so many directions that you'll lose your head in terms of who to fight for, who to win for. So, and they'll introduce characters that you would never have thought. And I think this would do good for the comic as well, sort of thing. So it'll boost them up as well, because, man, you know, it needs to be done. You need to keep that creative pencil work as well, you know, the artists at Marvel, you know. Yeah, well, that's my 2 cents worth. Went longer than I actually thought I did, you know, but I really wanted to put this out. I really wanted to sort of give my sort of my take on why we should not recast T'Challa. No, I'm not for that. Do not recast T'Challa, because you're gonna end up like a rabble row, you know, knocking on the front of the door saying, no, you can't do this. This is my character. You know, this is my no. It's not yours. It's Marvel's. And if they're gonna take him out, I'd rather take him out like honorably, you know. So again, people, let's just leave to rest the T'Challa that we know that Chadwick brought, and move on to newer, brighter stories. And again, if we've got to venture through and visit this character again, he may well come up. I'm sure he will do. He's a popular character, so I daren't say he's gonna die. And T'Challa himself, like I said, you never know what the future holds. So no one really dies in the MCU. You know, they just come back in another version. So watch this space. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. If you watched to the end, thank you. Click to subscribe. I want to try and do this regularly if I can. I'll try to be on the camera. Yeah, again, just have a think about everything that I said. Look at the full picture of what can be made without Chadwick at the moment, without T'Challa. Look at the full scope. Think of every story you can tell that would pertain to making Wakanda, because there's so much we can talk about, so much that doesn't involve T'Challa. And again, like I said, we're in a grounds where we can kind of really see where Marvel are at. So I for one, I'm looking forward for the sequel, and I know a lot of you are as well. So yeah, with that being said, thank you very much. Click subscribe if you're not, like if you don't like, but please, thank you for even watching. Till then, take care and watch this space. But remember, keep well, wash them hands, practice safety, and we're gonna weather this thing out. So yeah, so anyway, guys, thank you and peace.